bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time. It's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We're meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. A step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. Yarnchix Podcast, episode 41. This is a special one because I'm the exact same age as the number of my podcasts, so I'm very happy to record it out here in Bauwagen Isabel, our little escape to the countryside. It's going to be a short one because of that, because I'm also looking after the kids and I want to be outside. I've just been for a swim, so I've got wet hair and I'm like trying to hopefully look a bit podcasty here, sorry. My name is Mimi. I usually podcast from Berlin, and now for the first time since the COVID-19 corona isolation phase where we didn't travel out to the countryside, we're back in our shepherd's hut. At the end I will film in the other direction so that you can see my view of our little sleepy corner. And I'm sat here ready to share some knitting, some linen knitting and some toy making with you. We're in the middle of Magic 3 make-alongs, so I've brought some toy friends along, and I hope you enjoy this little brief escape to the countryside with me. So you would have seen a bit of a visual glimpse. I usually do that in my podcast so that you have a bit of a what's to come visual explanation. A rainbow of linen linen yarn that is called Lino muka, and I'm hosting the Lino muka knit along. So I might as well show you the first project. This is Solasta sweater, a design by Amalia Ziba, and I absolutely love the sleeves. So this is the first sleeve done, and I forgot to bring the darning needle, so I've just cut the ends, and I need to basically sew it in because it's like a double folded cuff, very long cuff, which I'm gonna really enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy wearing it because it is a really dramatic sleeve, and yeah, I'm gonna do that at home, as well as darning in all these kind of little bits and bobs of Lino muka, which I'm using to do this kind of painterly effect. So that was the close-up of that kind of inside-out rainbow painterly effect. And look, so all of this, one sleeve, the whole body of the sweater, which I guess is kind of semi-cropped, was all knit from one skein of Angora II. I mean, it's incredibly efficient in kind of yarn length. You have 750 meters. It's mohair, yarn and acrylic blend. It's very affordable. It's around €7, so that's $7.50, or around, I think, £6.50 or something, or £6.10. So it's a very, very cheap mohair replacement. And yeah, look, that is almost a whole sweater. I had to crack open the second ball of yarn for the second sleeve, which I've just started. I haven't come to the point in the increases because maybe here you can tell it kind of balloons out. You increase and then obviously dramatically decrease for the cuff. The pattern is from Pom Pom issue number 32 by Amalia Ziba, and I really love this Pom Pom issue. It's kind of the spring, yeah, it's the spring quarterly of the Pom Pom magazine, and it was art directed by Ocean Rose. Her art and yarn is amazing, and so the styling is very, very particular and specific to her style, which I love. I love all the kind of plants and in the honesty of the photographs. In the pattern here with the sleeve, there is kind of a hiccup, I think. Where was I? I'm knitting the Solasta sweater as part of the Lino muka knit along for myself, and I will definitely finish the Lino muka knit along. Runs until the 1st of July, so all of this month, and I have drawn a little interim winner to win some plant dyed Lino muka that I dyed myself. Last year we knitted the really, really lovely Mount Pleasant tea, and I've seen a few of them actually pop up in this year's knit along as well. This year I was showcasing the ranunculus sweater, and I think 3 or 4 ranunculus were actually knit. You can check out the Lino muka cal, it's a bit of a tongue twister, Lino muka knit along thread in my Ravelry group. So there's a Yarnchix Podcast Ravelry group, and it's a chatter thread, and I'm gonna draw a winner from that chatter thread at the very end. But I will have announced a little interim winner, which I was gonna draw on the 1st of June, but it's kind of been dragged out a little bit. It's now the 14th of June, so I reckon I will announce it tomorrow on the 15th. And then edit this podcast whenever, you never know. And yeah, I'm super happy. The Ranunculus t-shirt I knitted myself as a perfect fit, and I knitted it holding 3 strands. This I held Lino muka double, and here I'm using these kind of painterly end bits and the neon yellow colorway, which is one of our like loudest colorways of Lino muka cal. Also again held double alongside 1 single strand of Angora II. And here on the table I've got all the kind of little bits and bobs, which I would have filmed just then, of the Lino muka that are being fed into the Solasta sweater. I can really see myself wearing it. I'm happy with the ballooning sleeve, and I hope I found the right spot for the increase for the balloon. I think it's completely fine and beautiful as is. Such a drama queen sweater. I'm gonna love wearing it. I reckon now in summer it's gonna be too hot because it is actually quite a woolly sweater now. But let's see, maybe on a windy evening it's definitely gonna be worn, and I'm super chuffed it's getting there. And I really love Amalia's design. I'm really gonna enjoy her new design coming in this month's summer edition of Pom Pom Mag. Amalia Isabel has a second design, the second one published with Pom Pom. I think she hadn't had one published with them before, but she's got her own kind of indie designer patterns on Ravelry. Check out her work. She's Kindred Red on Instagram and dyes some beautiful yarns as well. What else? Yeah, the rainbow of Lino muka made me think, okay, I need to use up some more of these leftovers. I can't just have all these mini skeins and end bits. So I'm basically double dipping with the other knit along that I'm hosting currently in the Yarnchix Podcast, and it is for the Magic 3 make along, and I'm making a little rainbow summer top for my daughter. This is the Parachutey, and the Parachutey is a pattern by Stephen West, Westknits. And first you knit the front, and you can tell because I'm striping, I've got lots and lots of loose ends to darn in, as well as all the ends that I'm gonna have to tie or darn in for the Solasta. I'm gonna be busy with this. And now I'm knitting down the back. The back wants to become some kind of rainbow, so I'm gonna make the I-cord at the very top with the super red Lino muka, and then I've kind of rainbow striped all the way down. Oh, and the bottom will have this purple I-cord, I've decided. I think I'm gonna add in a little bit of pink just above, and this kind of lilac-y colour will be the last of the stripes. So I've got a little bit more to knit in this in order to make my daughter's first set. The bottom for this was going to be some sewn shorts, but I've actually cast on a pair of shorty socks for her, by a pattern by Dawn Henderson, the Les sock, as I am one of her Patreon supporters. I'm going to show that next time because I didn't bring them out. I only brought these 2 knitting projects out with me. Dawn was hosting the Summer Shorty knit along, so I thought I'd double dip with, again, my Magic 3 Mile and the Summer Shorty cal. But yeah, I'm excited to make this for my daughter. It's going to be a really wide, flowy linen top for her. toys that I'm making for her. I really want to knit a little bunny, the bunny Odile, a pattern from Cinthia. And in my drawing that I would have just added in with the like little rainbow close-up that I made for the set originally for the shorts with the Parachutey in the rainbow colours, I've drawn a little of one of the little animals that from Cinthia has created. So Molly Mole and Bunny Odile are definitely two of the latest releases from Cinthia that I'm still planning to knit in the knit along. I have currently got Winston Leon on my needles, and I knitted Myrtle Bear as one of her test knitters, so I'm hoping that at the end of this knit along I will have all of her amazing toy made patterns knitted up. I'm very excited because knitted toys are something really special. I think lots of people sew toys, or there's this whole trend with the amigurumi where you crochet toys, but I'm really into knitting toys, which started a long time ago actually as a kind of Steiner oriented kindergarten. Where my kids went, I learned about these gnomes that you create with kind of color codes to tell a story of the gnome's character or where he comes from. And this was actually the very first gnome I knitted and the first toy I knitted for my daughter, and it is called Tatatok, which is gnome in Turkish. One of my daughter's friends always used to call out Tatatok when he saw this gnome, so my daughter started calling her gnome Tatatok, and Tatatok is a house gnome. So he would not only guard like the seasonal table, but he's also there to protect a home or a shelter of some sort, so he helps tidying up, and he has this kind of very homey character. And as he was one of the first I made with a kind of red hat and a dark navy body, he actually ended up having also the most character. I don't know, I spent a lot of time on developing his character, and they have these kind of two-fingered fists, and you create a beard and the hair with some kind of more hairy alpaca mix. I don't know, he's very fun. And then the year after she wanted an amethyst gnome, and then I created this slightly bigger, and they also all turn out depending on your gauge or the needles you use. They kind of turn out differently. My gauge was still all over the place when I was making these. Yeah, and I really enjoyed finding the colours. I think this body colour I bought was one of my first purchases from Wolln Berlin way back when. I can't believe now I work there, but at the time I was like, I need something amethysty. Yeah. And otherwise I used up lots of leftovers like sock yarns from my grandma who sent me it, and yeah, I crocheted mainly for my baby, so from the crochet baby blanket I had this kind of purple left, and yeah, and this was also left from the crochet baby blanket I made my daughter. And I brought these two gnomes along just to tell you that I'm actually in the process of making many more. I'm going to try and make a circle of gnomes. I was thinking about ways of creating kind of meaning in my making and my knitting, and I do like the seasonal table and the kind of habit of that, but also I wanted to reflect my learnings in these gnomes. So I'm gonna really go into what they mean, where they come from, what color codes they have. I'm gonna research into that, as well as not only creating these kind of grey lighter gnomes. now a close-up of the 2 gnomes I brought out, and yeah, I'm excited to make more gnomes for friends and family and as presents. I'm getting busy with that. Lastly, in this podcast, I wanted to show a book that we've had out here, and I just picked it up again. This is Sonia's Chicken, a book by Phoebe Wall, who is an American illustrator. I found Phoebe Wall through her work, especially this book, because when we first moved here there were actually chickens and we were looking after Ginger the chicken, and my daughter was really into chickens, so I got her the book in connection with this Home on Wheels, or Escape. And funnily, the story actually talks about the fox and how he has to catch chickens in order to feed their fox cubs, and the kind of circle of life connection in that. I really like the book, and I really like the way it's illustrated and story told. The story told is not actually about the badness of the fox, but about the necessity of him having to feed their cubs, and it's a really lovely illustration, and it actually presents a diverse family. So you have a mixed family with a black father, and they're farming, I don't know where, but definitely near a forest. And I love that this was in our collection without me realizing that that is actually part of the story that Phoebe Wall tells. I like children's books where it is kind of in the artwork and not in the theme, but I also love all the reading and all the books that I've recently discovered that are very much anti-racist, and where the theme is about, you know, being black in America or being black in this world. And I want this to be kind of normal in our house, and a big point of discussing our privilege as a family of white, as a white family in Europe and Germany, and also to reflect on kind of anti-racism work in the context of our German society and in this context. So I really recommend to my German podcast friends to check out Tupoka Ogete. She has written a book called Exit Racism, and it is also an audiobook, so it's in the German language, so very much considering our background and our environment in Germany for black families and mixed race families, you know, how the situation is, because she is an anti-racism coach, and I think her stance is very helpful for me as a German white in her anti-racism work. And I really highly recommend it. I'm about halfway through her audiobook. I'm gonna buy the book because I think it should be held. Books are great to hold, and I'm doing a lot of reading and research into books also for my kids to extend a library and diversify not only the topics but also the imagery that we find around our house in books. So thank you so much for visiting me in Bauwagen Isabel in our shepherd's hut today, and listening in on my podcast mumbles and chatter. I hope there was something you enjoyed and that I made sense in my mumblings because I didn't really prepare. My kids just came in and interrupted, so I've promised I'll go back to the lake for some more swimming now, and I'll film some of the close-ups that I've promised whilst I chatted. Being out here reminded me of the beauty of also giving yourself time to really do nothing, because I know as a podcaster, knitter and maker, I tend to busy my hands and fingers a lot. But down at the beach, for example, I was just lying in the sun looking into the clouds, and I hope all of you have a chance to do that in your routine, or to remember to carve out time where you just give into time and space and enjoy being unproductive. I've just learned that about myself again, that I don't grant myself moments of being non-productive. Often I'm at the beach twitching, my fingers are like, I didn't bring my knitting, kids, can we go back? So it's nice to just lie back and look up, and that is also part of gaining energy to do the work to create real change in this society. It will be finding moments where you feed your batteries and then go back out. I wonder what my own position is in the revolution that is highly necessary. I think a lot of the revolutionizing for mothers is definitely in the parenthood, that we change the way we teach our children. So that is how I'm reflecting at the moment and going forward with my reading and my making and my work, so that I show my kids that I make our clothes by hand, and that I talk about the ways there is so much discrimination and harmful behavior already ingrained in us, and that we need to break those. I'm taking you along to my garden in the Cinthia Vallet, so it's quite funny. This is like my city escape, about a 5-minute cycle ride from my home, and I filmed the cycle ride in a kind of high speed. It'll be a bit of a change of speed to the sounds and life out here, but why not? I mean, this is kind of how the podcast will be this time, a bit of a, I'll show you my two places of escape. And the garden is an interkultureller Garten, so it's a multicultural neighborhood project, and we have a tiny little patch, and there's strips that are neighboring, that are owned or looked after by families from different nations. And yeah, I took you there to show you around my little garden patch. Enjoy that, and I hope you enjoyed my tarot card reading, and that I'll see you again soon. Look after yourself, and commit to your reading, and commit to your knitting, and commit to your rest in your ways. I know that we will find our roots and our ways. Thank you for joining me, and see you again very soon. Bye bye!